Jury selection begins today for the trial of Jennifer Crumbley, the Michigan mother facing charges related to a school shooting carried out by her son. High-profile case marks the first time the parents of a school shooter have ever faced involuntary manslaughter charges related to their child's crime. Prosecutors say Jennifer and James Crumbley purchased a semi-automatic handgun eventually used in the shooting as a gift for their son. Ethan Crumbley shot and killed 4 students in Oxford and injured several others in 2021. This again out of Michigan. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. At his sentencing, Crumbley defended his parents' accused role leading up to the shooting, saying that he did not tell them what he had planned to do. All right, lots to talk about here. Let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalifa Rose to this conversation. So let's talk about what's happening today and when opening statements will begin.
Jury selection is something that's a long process. You're talking about a homicide, and so this will take a long time to unpack. Folks will know about this because it's national news, and so if you're asking the question, are you aware of this case, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a hard one for a person to say no. And so figuring out who was aware, what depth of knowledge they know, that process is going to take a long time. Interesting enough, I got my start in my legal career right there in Oakland County, right there in Pontiac, Michigan, walking up and down the halls of that courtroom every day. So I'm extremely familiar with bringing in the jury and ensuring that they are secured in an isolated location so that the public doesn't have any interaction with them. They do an excellent job of doing that, and that process will be run smoothly, but the process selecting will be long.
All right, so you're a defense attorney. So you can see a case like this. There's obviously 2 sides to this. Do you feel like the charges, number one, will stick, and how would you plead this case?
I mean, the charges are there, so I mean, they're sticking, and this is not a new type of charge, voluntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter. It's there, and that's what they're charged with. The standard is going to be, was it grossly negligent? And the issue is that you have these types of cases that have happened over the years where students have been killed with these school shootings, and so you can do a couple approaches. You can attempt to do gun regulations, and we've seen on the national level that is it's been a slower process, and on the state level you've seen them a rollback in terms of regulations. And so already in place in this state of Michigan, you have a negligent storing of a firearm, and that's what they're charged with.
Right.
Normally that would be the only charge. This charge of involuntary manslaughter, 4 counts, that's something that I think is a new type of approach to it. As we mentioned in open, first time a parent has been charged for their child's actions like that, and it has to say were they grossly negligent?
Well, do you think this is an overreach here?
I think it's a stretch, and if I was arguing in front of the jury, I would say that. First of all, what the prosecutor pointed to was that they knew because he made comments that he wanted to kill other people, but those comments were made on social media to his other friends, and so the parents would have had to be in his phone looking at his messages to do that. Any communication or interaction that he had is the normal things of a teenager just wanting to not be under their parents' control.
Right.
He had some other issues in terms of needing medical attention. And so more oftentimes what we do is when a homicide occurs, we look back and say, what could we have done different? In this case, they look back and they say, well, the parents could have done these things. I think it's a stretch to say they were grossly negligent in failing to do a number of things. I'll make it a local issue. Mecklenburg County has something called the Fatality Review Board, where we go back and look at domestic violence fatalities and how we could have avoided them. This would be like us saying, okay, well, this individual incident didn't do what they were supposed to do, so now we're going to go charge them. In this case, I think the parents could have done a lot more, but I do think it's an overcharge to say they were grossly negligent in failing to do what most parents are trying to do on a regular basis, which is raise their child.
All right, so much there, so much to unpack with this, yeah.
Not enough time.
Not enough time, as I always say that. Thanks, Khalifa, I appreciate it.